Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into the latest groundbreaking developments in technology. Today, we're doing a kind of rapid-fire look at the real cutting edge of AI and mobile. We're pulling insights directly from the freshest industry reports, surveys, that sort of thing. Our mission really is to cut through all the noise, give you a clear picture and actionable understanding of what's happening now and what's likely just around the corner.
Yeah, it's quite something. The pace of innovation we're seeing is just, well, electrifying.
Yeah.
Looking at the evolution of AI, the big leaps in hardware design, I mean, the material we have really shows how fast everything's changing.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this first one. OpenAI. They just unveiled something called ChatGPT Agent. And it sounds like, this isn't just about getting answers anymore, is it? It feels like a whole new territory for AI assistants.
Exactly. What's truly revolutionary here is the shift. It's moving from just a conversational assistant to what they call an agentic system. This new tool, it's for ChatGPT Pro Plus and team users right now. It doesn't just process information. It actually performs multi-step tasks for you. It operates within a sort of virtual computer environment. Think of it like a digital colleague almost.
Yeah.
That can use software and data like a person would.
So wait, it's not just telling you how to do something, it's actually doing it.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference. Can you give us some examples? Like, what does doing things actually look like for this agent?
Absolutely. The reports show it can, say, look at your calendar, then summarize your upcoming meetings, but also pull in relevant client news for context. Or it could help plan a dinner party and then actually go and order the ingredients online. And for more professional stuff, it might research competitors and then build a whole slide deck laying out their pros and cons. It can even use code to analyze really big data sets or build quite complex financial models totally from scratch.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit thought-provoking. The reports are saying it can outperform humans in some tasks, specifically data science and financial modeling benchmarks. That's a big claim. What's the story there?
Yeah, it definitely raises some important questions about how our own roles might change. In their internal tests, ChatGPT Agent apparently did exceed human performance on certain data science workflows. They mentioned something called DS Bench specifically, which, for anyone not familiar, is a pretty tough benchmark suite. It tests AI across a lot of real-world data science problems. And it also showed better performance in tasks typical for investment banking analysts. Now, it's built on their GPT-4o model. That's the foundation. But it's these extra layers, the ability to navigate the web, run code, access files that really make the difference, that enable this level of performance.
Right, but if it's doing things for us, performing actions, how do we make sure it doesn't, go rogue or just do something we didn't quite intend? What are the safety controls?
That's absolutely critical, and user control is designed to be paramount. The system is built to pause and ask for your explicit okay, your approval, before it does anything significant. Things like logging into accounts or sending emails, submitting forms online. It also has built-in safeguards, pretty robust ones apparently, to recognize and just reject malicious instructions or things that are too ambiguous. And crucially, it's designed to avoid high-risk stuff. Financial transactions, giving legal advice, things like that, unless you give very explicit permission. It's important to get that it's not a totally new AI model, but a really powerful new capability layered on top, built with safety and oversight really in mind.
Okay, so that's AI expanding what digital assistants can do, but just as interesting is how the devices themselves are changing. The hardware. Let's pivot a bit from the software to the hardware and talk about phones that literally, bend, reshaping our mobile experience. We've seen foldables like the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 get incredibly thin. You mentioned, 4.2 millimeter unfolded, which is like the thickness of a USB-C port. That's wild. But now trifolds seem to be the new buzz.
Yeah, and if you connect that to the bigger picture, it's this constant push, isn't it? For thinner devices, but also way more screen space. That's driving this next wave. So we're hearing rumors about Samsung's Galaxy Z trifold.
Great.
Maybe launching in October with a huge 10-inch main screen. At Huawei, they're not waiting. They already have their Mate XT Ultimate out in some places.
And Tecno's even teasing one, calling it the Phantom Ultimate G Fold concept. They claim it's the thinnest trifold yet, just 3.49 millimeter unfolded. So, okay, what does this all mean for us, for users? Why would we actually want 3 screens? How does that change how we use our phone day to day?
Well, the sources are starting to highlight the practical uses people are finding. Things like playing Sudoku on one panel while you're tracking your Uber on another, or following instructions for building furniture while you're actually doing it. Some people are apparently even using them as a second display in their car. It just makes tasks that can be a bit awkward or clunky on a normal phone, a slab phone, much smoother, more intuitive when you've got that bigger, flexible display. What's really insightful, I think, is how this flexibility sort of blurs the lines between devices. Is it a phone, a tablet, a kind of portable workstation? It creates totally new ways to interact.
And you can't talk foldables without mentioning Apple, right? They're rumored to be getting into the game, too. The iPhone Fold, tipped to be the thinnest iPhone ever, 4.8 millimeter unfolded, and maybe even more exciting, there's buzz about a crease-free display, which would be a huge engineering challenge solved apparently thanks to a partnership with Samsung. That's big because, the crease is one of the main complaints with current foldables. So getting rid of that promises a much smoother look and feel. Oh, and just for fun, the iPhone 17 Pro might come in a new orange color, a bold choice. It really sounds like the whole phone landscape is about to get a lot more dynamic, interesting shapes and sizes. So while we've got this cutting-edge AI and these flexible phones changing things, it's also really important to think about the human side. How does all this tech impact our daily lives, our well-being? Let's look beyond the gadgets for a second, specifically at older adults. There was a University of Michigan survey. It found AI smart home devices, voice assistants, are actually helping older adults age in place, which is great.
Yeah, what's really insightful there, though, is the sort of dual perspective that came out. On the one hand, yes, 80% of those using voice assistants found them genuinely helpful, good for independence. But there's also this healthy dose of skepticism. Almost half of the older adults they surveyed had little or no trust in AI-generated information. And a huge number, 81%, wanted more info about the risks of AI. It really raises an important question for the whole industry, doesn't it? About clearly labeling AI content. That seems crucial for building trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of trust, wasn't there that recent report about Meta AI accidentally leaking private chatbot prompts and answers? They fixed it quickly, apparently, but still, it's a pretty stark reminder of the privacy challenges with these new systems.
Indeed it is. It just highlights the critical, ongoing need for really robust security in AI, especially as they handle more and more personal data. It's also fascinating just watching the different approaches to AI regulation around the world. You see Meta opting out of the EU's voluntary AI code of practice, while OpenAI has signed on. That suggests, different philosophies maybe within the industry about balancing compliance and innovation, how to navigate this whole fast-moving area.
Right. And just to wrap things up, maybe bring it back to personal well-being. Amidst all this high-tech revolution, sometimes it's the simple things, right? Things outside the digital world. There's a new study in BMJ Evidence-Based Medicine. It found that gentle exercise, like yoga, can significantly improve sleep, potentially adding almost 2 extra hours to your rest time, just by doing practices focused on, body awareness, controlled breathing, a nice reminder about looking after ourselves holistically. So yeah, when you pull it all together, from AI agents that are tackling complex tasks, really pushing what digital assistants can do, to phones that literally bend and reshape themselves, offering totally new ways to interact, and even thinking about how tech connects, or sometimes disconnects, from our daily well-being. This deep dive has definitely shown just how quickly everything is evolving.
The sheer pace is, it's staggering. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does this actually mean for how we'll live and work, maybe just a few years down the line? As these incredibly powerful technologies get woven even deeper into the fabric of our lives, what new ways of doing things, what new paradigms will emerge when our devices aren't just tools, but maybe more like dynamic, adaptive companions? It's a lot to think about.